Hi there and welcome back, and my, it is a lovely day in this charming little town. But before we head off to the lab and talk to Juniper, we need to actually experience a story. Can you imagine such a thing in a Pokemon game? Good heavens. Granted, this isn't the most complex characterization ever, but it's a little thing can make all the difference. It makes a difference from travelling with a character you don't care about to a traveller you sort of know a bit of their backstory. Sharon, he likes power. Well, he sort of takes an analytical view to Pokemon training. He wants to be the best. Bianca is sort of like a bit flaky, wants to become stronger. Good. I hope they continue this sort of story approach in Gen 6. And I think they will, because what they did in this gen got a lot of positive feedback. And honestly, the more I play this game, the more it probably becomes my favourite generation. Now, at the time of recording this walkthrough, the BBC had its own TV show based on Sherlock Holmes. And of course this character of Sherlock was played by Benedict Cumberbatch. And when I saw Snivy's face, his smug little look, I thought, oh, he's like some sort of Sherlock Holmes type character. Sort of a little arrogant. And that's why he's called Cumberbatch. That, and I like that show a lot as well. I like that actor then, Benedict Cumberbatch. So essentially, I will be naming my Pokemon after TV personalities I like. So that's Cumberbatch. And what I like in this gen is that not all the Pokemon names are spelled out in caps lock. They actually have lowercase letters, which is something that kind of annoyed me since Gen 1. And I know it's just a small thing, but I appreciate it. So here we go, the standard Pokédex quest. Now something I do like about in this gen is that it introduced 150 new Pokemon, which apart from the first generation, I think that's the most one generation has actually introduced. All the others have introduced about 100. And what I also like about this gen is that the regional Pokédex, it's 150 all new Pokemon. Which again, so when you play this game, you'll encounter new Pokemon if you haven't played it before. Like, you won't come across Geodudes, you won't come across Zubats. Now granted, each one of those Pokemon, Zubats and Geodudes, do have their equivalent in this region, but we'll see them as we traverse through this land. Here we go. Now, something I wonder about the Pokemon universe is that a lot of people say they went on their journey. So, is becoming a Pokemon trainer like a rite of passage in this world? Even if you do not become a professional trainer or Pokemon master, do you still go on a journey anyway? Is it like a gap year? She's a nice woman, and I guess out of the mother characters out of each generation, she is the most proactive. As I remember, all the mother characters in the other games, they just stay in the house and heal your Pokemon. Oh, here we go. Now, something about this tutorial, from what I gather in Pokemon Black and White 2, is they actually ask you, do you know how to catch a Pokemon? And if you say yes, they skip the tutorial. Which, I can't believe it took them that many games into the series to let you skip tutorials. And honestly, from what I hear about Zelda, that's something they could learn from. From what I gather from friends who have played that game, it does pretty much force a very long tutorial on you. But enough about Zelda. here's how you catch a Pokemon. To talk about this Pokemon, Patrat, I guess he does fit the sort of Rattata role. You know, a normal type in the grass you encounter early on, that's sort of a rodent. Except this one, he seems to have gotten spliced up with a Hoothoot, because this Pokemon actually has hypnosis powers. And you can tell from those red glowing eyes. Honestly, they do get a bit creative with the designs in this generation, which overall I'm thankful for. But when I first saw Patrat with the red eyes, I thought, that looks a bit off. I've gotten used to it now, but I thought, that's a bit weird. Red glowing eyes. Now, when it comes to catching Pokemon, in this game, I'm going to be catching legendaries. And Pokemon I'm going to use. Other than that, it's not, I don't really see important for the video. Like, I'll show you if I catch a Pokemon which I'll use later on. But that's about it. Now, you can see on the screen here I've applied my own fancy graphics to help you realise what Pokemon appear in which area. Now, this generation, he has grass, it has dark grass and rustling grass and what have you. And essentially it goes like this: you have grass where you encounter Pokemon. Now, if you see a patch of grass rustling, that usually means you can catch like a rarer Pokemon. Now, as for dark grass, that's where you encounter two Pokemon at the same time. And of course you can catch different Pokemon in that grass as well. And there's also water. You catch Pokemon by surfing on the surface or fishing like previous gens. Now, the sort of pink title you see there is a swarm. Now, that's only after you complete the main Pokédex. I mean the main story. And then Pokemon, like say in this area for example, a Farfetch'd might appear later on at certain days. But anyway, I'll show off an encounter here, Lillipup. If you've played any of the Pokemon games, you should really realise what's going on. You know, the basic mechanics haven't changed too much. But anyway, this Pokemon, Lillipup, based off of like a little Scottish Terrier. I love it. But the funny thing is, I'm actually a dog person, but in this game I actually use the cat Pokemon. Which is a bit odd, I suppose. But then again, I do like dark types. And you'll see what Pokemon I mean later on. And I just wanted to point out that Lillipup, it's kind of like Lilliput, the land in Gulliver's Travels, which were inhabited by little people. So Lillipup, Lilliput, great pun, love it. Yeah, Bianca, I only want to catch one Pokemon, alright? Don't bother checking the Pokédex. Hey, a four-way call. It's portable Skype. You know, speaking of which, this sort of video phone technology, I know it's available nowadays, but we don't see it on anything. And I think I know why, and that's just because you don't always want to see someone's face when you're talking to them. You know, especially if they're like a stranger, you're just happy. I would be happy just keeping it to like an audio call. Yeah, that, and I think that's the real reason why video phone calls haven't taken off. We just don't want them. Now, granted, I think Skype has gotten big. I think most people use it nowadays. But I think the difference is with Skype, you talk to someone you know, and you've already set it up. Anyway, the Pokemon Center, because in this universe we have universal healthcare for Pokemon, but not really for people. Go figure. But then again, in this universe, everyone loves Pokemon. It's like a religion or a cult. Anyway, the PC storage, you can store Pokemon in there because you can only carry 6 at a time. You can also store items, but honestly, I end up just carrying all items with me anyway. And I guess that's another aspect of Pokemon which is kind of weird. The idea that Pokemon can be transferred as electronic data. Now, what's really streamlined in this generation is that they combine the Poké Center with a Pokemon Mart, which is really useful. And each city has like an exclusive set of items it sells. But yeah, be sure to stock up on Pokeballs and potions whenever you can. You know, when I've played previous gens, I didn't really bother with potions. I just always walked back to the Pokemon Center. But in this gen I did, because obviously when recording I didn't want to go back and forth all the time. And well, that's it for now. Please join us again.